The so-called blue lifts in the ward support building at Wellington Hospital have cemented themselves as one of the most iconic elevators in all of Wellington City, if not the most iconic. They were installed in the mid to late 1970s as a set of 4 OTIS VIP 260s with ultra-rare touch-sensitive Lexan buttons. For over 4 decades, they have been dedicated to serving the hustle and bustle of this end of the hospital, all while having little to no complaints about their job and toughing out the hard labour. They were truly one of a kind. I mean, rare fixtures aside, you just don't see elevators with that kind of traffic remain original for as long as they have in a major city's main hospital. Unfortunately, as is the case with virtually any piece of machinery, their age did start to catch up to them, and fast. Around, I'd say, 2018 or 2019, the 2 leftmost lift cars, otherwise known as C1 and C2, suffered major breakdowns that took them out of service pretty much for good. This was the first sign of bad things to come. The ward support block was now down to just 2 of the original 4 blue lifts, which for the most part did still run pretty spectacularly, in part due to the fact that C1 and C2 had basically been decommissioned and were being used essentially to provide spare parts for C3 and C4 should any of their components break down. Nevertheless, even if the 2 rightmost cars were still hanging on, the traffic per lift had basically doubled on these elevators due to the half supply for the regular demand. It was in this state that many current elevator enthusiasts, including myself, came to know the blue lifts. At the time, we may have been a little obnoxious to their true state, but it was a mere foreshadowing, and it wouldn't be until veteran New Zealand filmer Alex Ellis started a job at Wellington Hospital that we realised the true impact of declining old lifts. To understand where we're about to segue to, let's have a quick recap of what we know about some very similar elevators not far from these ones, the PurpleLifts. Just like the blue lifts, they are a set of 4 old OTIS elevators, except these ones seem to be installed in the 1960s and even got a modernization by OTIS in the 1990s, adding Series 1 indicators and concave buttons. These elevators would suffer frequent outages. Heck, when I first came to film them in 2020, I found all 4 lifts out of action, which shouldn't be possible with a set this big. And overall, the lifts that did work on any given day had a pretty subpar ride quality to top it off. These elevators needed an upgrade, and in 2022, an upgrade they would get as the lifts were completely ripped out and replaced with all new Schindler 7000s. From what I hear, this is part of a much larger lift upgrade program where every elevator in the hospital will be looked at over the next 5 to 10 years. Well, according to that lift upgrade program, the blue lifts were next. I'm sure when word first got out that the blue lifts would soon be no more, I'd like to think reception was largely negative. After all, these are one of the few examples of touch-sensitive OTIS Lexan in the whole country. Why wouldn't people be upset? Well, while we were distraught at the news at first, it wasn't until work started on the blue lifts in 2023 that the reasons behind the upgrade became more and more apparent, to the point where they're as obvious as the nose on anyone's face. Understandably, with lifts C1 and C2 completely out of action, it made sense to start replacing them first because they would pose no interruption to the then traffic of the remaining blue lifts. And Remember how I said lifts C1 and C2 provided spare parts for C3 and C4 should the latter two of their components fail? Yeah, consider the fact that upgrades starting on these dilapidated boxes would mean there was no longer a source for replacing worn down components of C3 and C4, which means they began behaving exactly as you'd expect old rundown lifts to behave. Now let's see the problematic car. Alright, that's a good start. Oh.
Looks like I just didn't hit the sensor in the right spot. I see it doesn't open.
Oh my, yep. You can see why these are getting replaced.
Okay, it looks like the door open realized something.
Yeah.
But then it starts closing immediately.
It's cause it. Oh, come on. Oh no. Level 6. Going up.
Getting angry.
Well, this is the one that's a bit screwed.
I think the cables are a bit more bouncy when it's only going one floor.
Yeah, and it has that really big acceleration as well. Oh!
It's going the other way. Okay, skip it.
Yeah, I did.
The logic is very
Yeah, you can't call these. I think the logic's screwed. Let's just get the hard truth out of the way. Lifts this old, under this heavy use, should not be allowed to continue service at the first sign of major failure. That's not to say the elevators in, say, old office buildings or apartment buildings where foot traffic is generally low. Those elevators are usually underused, not to the point of staling the components, but to a reasonable degree that they can generally stand the test of time. In this instance, we are talking about elevators in the main hospital complex of a capital city. If you know anything about elevators of that nature, their foot traffic is not light whatsoever. Unfortunately, when components fail, it becomes harder and harder every passing year to source effective parts to replace them. And even the lift engineers who have the most experience working on these old elevators are about to reach their retirement age. Once they're gone, the newer generation, who, let's be fair, would have been trained on much newer equipment, they're gonna be left in the dark. Are you kidding me? This equipment is almost double or even triple my age. It's inevitable that upgrades like these will happen. The world moves on, and we have to move with it. And as divisive and controversial a topic as modernization is and ever will be within the elevator community, unfortunately for these elevators, it was never, will there be an upgrade, and always, when will be the upgrade. So, fast forward to a few months into 2024. Every active lift enthusiast is snatching any opportunity to make their way down to the hospital, not just to score a free meetup with Alex, but to try and see how many rides they can squeeze in on the old blue lifts before they eventually become history. Because we all know, one of them will be the very last. Oh, and shout out to Cooper, aka Elevators in New Zealand and more, for managing to, quote, break lift C3 on a recent visit and forever integrating himself into hashtag BlueLifts lore. The details of which I will not hash out here, but let's just say the lift is screwed, he towed its line, and the whole thing was made even more hilarious by Alex's banter.
I think I broke the blue lift C3. Congratulations.
Congratulations, oh my god.
It's going to be a while before I stop roasting you about that. You keep an eye on it. Oh, you haven't broken it again, have you?
No, I haven't.
John's my favourite one to write.
Don't worry, I didn't do any bad stuff.
Are you sure?
No, I didn't.
The cages over on the top floor.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
Come on. Yep.
Oh.
Oh, there's one.
Get in that one.
It was closed earlier, so it's open now.
Yeah, I know. The question is then, is what's escaped? I'm on form today.
As a side note, C3 suffered a separate breakdown not too long after this that took it out of service permanently, as the engineers decided it would be better to just start decommissioning it rather than trying to repair it with the new lifts being this close to completion. I would just like to clarify that this breakdown has nothing to do with Cooper's incident, even though we kind of have an in-joke now that suggests it does. But seriously, it doesn't. Okay. Where does that lead us? Well, on July 12, 2024, the brand new BlueLifts C1 and C2 finally entered service. It's the first time those two cars have been operational in about 5 or 6 years, and the first time we ever get a ride in the new elevators. They officially entered service at about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, visually, they are almost the same as the PurpleLifts. They're Schindler 7000s, exactly the same model as the purple ones. They've got the same green Schindler D4 buttons, the same FIGS 700 LOP indicators, and more or less the same cab, just with a black lino instead of a purple one. So much for blue lift, blue fixtures, let alone blue lift, blue floor. The key differences in these new lifts compared to the purple ones are the COP indicators, boasting this much lovelier design, I must admit. And the voice unit is also different. Whereas the purple lifts just have the lift stopping voice, the blue lifts have the Tereo Maori voice. And a complete precedent is the fact that these lifts feature Tereo Maori door announcements.
Doors open. Take the ticket from the home. Level 5. Papa Tuarima. Doors closing. Take the copy from the home.
Voice announcement a bit soft in here though, not gonna lie.
Doors open. Take the ticket from the home. Level 12. Papa Tuarima. Doors closing. Take the copy from the home.
So, what are the most subtle differences between the blue lifts and the purple lifts? Well, for one, the blue lifts have virtually everything but the outer door tracks replaced. Why I bring it up? Because the purple lifts actually kept their original shaft doors, but apparently they are way too heavy for the new door motors to handle, because as you probably know, everything is made to be quite light nowadays. In fact, a lot of the blue lifts differences stem from how they rectify what they got wrong when doing the purple lifts. Another example is the way they angle the outside indicators after numerous complaints that the purple lifts ones are next to impossible to see clearly. You can see our C1's indicator is kind of angled towards the right, whereas C2 and presumably C3's indicators are angled downwards to be at eye level with passengers looking upwards at them. This is a good mitigation, although if I'm honest, given the fact that these elevators are located in this tight corridor with next to no natural light, the indicators should be much clearer to see than on the purple lifts anyway. Now, what do I think about these new elevators? I think they're absolutely efficient, amazing. They run much better than the old lifts, they're more efficient, and they're a lot smoother. It's also a much more pleasant ride overall, and the speed is still the same, just that these newer ones don't have as steep an acceleration curve as the old ones. Which, yes, sucks the fun out of that stomach dropping feeling, but I reckon if you're not part of the elevator community, that feeling is more nauseating rather than fun. I mean, obviously the touch-sensitive buttons will be missed, but we cannot be too blinded by old nostalgia that we don't appreciate the perks that modernization brings. In the case of the blue lifts, some absolute troublemakers that have annoyed visitors and staff of this hospital alike with how unreliable they are, this is a worthy trade-off. So, as the remaining clips play out, the last thing I'll say is, I hope the new blue lifts will continue to serve the Waltz support block of Wellington Regional Hospital for many years and decades to come. Thank you for listening to me. Just a reminder to what we're saying goodbye to. It's definitely warranted. Yeah. So I bet you all are wondering which lift is faster. Well, I'm gonna find out. WayGoodOtis is in the other one. Okay. 3. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Is he? Oh, I think that was a false start. I'm not sure about that. I think that was a false start. Do you want to go on a countdown next?
I go ahead.
Oh. Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Go! Okay, blue lift but not blue floor unlike the purple lifts. There we go. Come on. Come on. Ah. Well played. Yep. Which I suppose we kind of expected. Right. It's been a week of the blue lifts being in service, or the new ones. Oh, and if you're wondering what this is, it's just a unfinished fast food order. Yeah. Oh, where are they? They told me they'd be here. Wait. Ooh. They're coming off. Okay, okay, okay. So as you can see, they're not working. Yep, they're out. They're out completely. And it's gonna be that one. They're chipping away at it. So yep. I hate you guys.
Why?
Completely isolated for the longest time.
I literally ran away from you guys.
Yep, end of an era. It's over for these guys.
Also, the call buttons on level 7 are loose.
It's over.
Is he coming by now? Doubt it.
Oh.
Stop!
It's gonna nudge.
Stop! I'm serious.
It's gonna nudge. Okay, there we go. Yes, see, we're learning. We're learning.
I'm learning it.
Ah! Joking.
He caught us.
Yeah, I get in. They're all using the stairs. It's basically a habit now. Because these ones were not working for so long. And you know, the old BlueLifts was so unreliable, it's basically now just a habit to take the stairs.
If you look out here,
Yeah, I wouldn't move it.
maybe don't steal it though. And that weird noise is probably coming from there.
Some ventilation.
It's been there for ages though, because I heard it in Alex's first ever video.
Oh, crikey, my lens is dirty. Well, I'll deal with that later. Yeah, I like this wooden styling they've got out here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's finished. They're finished permanently.
That one's gone up to 12. Either that's WayGoodOtis or that's one of the engineers. Or, you know, someone trying to use the lecture theatres there. Alright, let's see how responsive these doors are, see?
Doors closing. Take the couples number code. Doors opening. Take the ticket number code. Doors closing.
Okay, let it go.
Take the couples number.
Okay, let it go.
Doors opening. Take the ticket number code. Doors closing.
I hate you.
Take the couples number code. Doors opening. Take the ticket number code. Doors
18.
closing.
1814 kgs, 24 person.
Oh great, we've just screwed up the voice. And yep, he's gone. Probably he's the one who's going up to level 12. Oh, they're probably doing work out here though. Oh, come on. He must be perpetually in there. Yep, up there's level 13, where they must be doing all the work.
Dure's phone, Jinx.
I think they're all made to be the same size. It's probably regulation. Sorry. Guys. Okay.
Keeps running away from it.
You'll have to see it though.